YouTube, welcome to my brand new channel, Yorkshire Shotgunner. Although it's called Yorkshire Shotgunner, it's mainly about the good old outdoors. So there'll be lots of things, shotgun shooting being the main one, but also we're going to be looking at things like sea kayaking, sea fishing, obviously shooting, hopefully pigeon shooting at some point, clay shooting, and everything outdoors. So what I've got for you today is a review of the two shotguns that I have as a good start video. I'll show you the guns that I use and some of the equipment that I've got as well. I'm a relatively new shotgunner. I've been into it probably about 3 or 4 months now. So I'm still very much in the learning process and enjoying every moment of it. So let's have a quick look at the two shotguns that I use. The first one is the rather nice Browning B525. Bought it brand new, so let's have a closer look. An absolutely gorgeous piece of kit, I'm sure you'll agree. So what do we get in the box? Well, we have all the paperwork, which is boring and I won't show you. But you do get a box of accessories, which consists of a Browning trigger lock, which is always a good idea to use, even when it's in your gun cabinet. It's always a good idea to use that. Obviously you've got your choke key and 2 separate spare chokes. In this case I've got a modified and a full. So if I look at the gun, Inflex recoil pad. It's a grade 1 wood, I believe, so it's not the best, but it's still rather nice looking. The checkering is really nice and solid. It feels good in your hand. I do like the thin pistol grip because I've only got small hands, so it's rather spot on for me, I would say. Gold had nice trigger. I do love the engraving on these. It looks more like something you'd expect on a more expensive gun. That being said, this did cost me the better part of £1,300, which is, I guess, is a lot of money. But nothing like you can pay, I would imagine. The barrels, the chokes, as you can see, are sticking out a little bit. That's not because they're extended chokes, it's because I've left them unscrewed a little bit just to ensure that they don't get seized whilst in storage, etc. I've added a fibre optic bead on the end. Nice checkering on the far end. Of course, it's the ejector model. Safety, as you'd expect, and the barrel selector there as well, and the engraving on the other side and underneath. Really nice engraving. Okay, let's put it together and see what it looks like. Comes to the shoulder very easily. The weight is really good. I expected it to be a lot heavier. I don't know exactly what it is. It's about £7.5 I think, but it doesn't feel that heavy, to be honest. It feels, to me, it feels more like about 6.5, although it isn't. I find it quite a bit now, this, and it's fairly flat shooting. Recoil is negligible, but I guess that depends pretty much on what cartridges you use. I'll show you what cartridges I use in a moment. However, I won't do that till I put the gun away. I have my little old personal rule which basically says that the gun and cartridges will never come together. They'll never be in the same proximity as each other unless I'm shooting. So I never bring the guns and cartridges together other than on the clay field. So I'll do that in a moment. But as you can see, it's a lovely, lovely gun. So let's move on to the second shotgun that I have. Okay, this one is an Armsan A612 semi-automatic shotgun in 12 gauge. Section 2 shotgun, 3 shots, supposedly, but I'll go into that in a minute. Let's have a look at this one in a bit more detail. Okay, let's start at the butt end. Useful butt pad, not as good as the Inflex on the Browning, but you wouldn't expect it to be, given this is a budget shotgun. The wood, don't think it's really wood, I think it's some sort of composite material, but it's made to look like wood, I think. We have a rear sling swivel. Again, nice checkering and a nice thin pistol grip as well, which is great for my small hands. The safety is brilliant, it's right there, right where you need it, right across your trigger finger, sorry, under your trigger finger should I say. Nice crisp trigger. The action is black on this one, although you can get the all black version, the tactical version. Bolt handle, bolt release, nice checkering on the fore end, single barrel obviously, vented top rib, and a fibre optic sight. So again, this is a really nice gun, particularly for the price. I think I paid just over £500 for it, but that was also including quite a lot of accessories in a package. So you can't go wrong. You really can't. If you're a fan of these things, then you'll know exactly what I mean. They're absolutely ideal for pigeon shooting. 28-inch barrel. Easy to load, etc. In the hide, so you're not getting your barrel stuck in the net every time you try and load anything. One other feature on these that I've noticed is that you have a dovetail mount on the top where you can put a sight. I've seen these guns before with fibre optic sights on them and holographic sights, red dot type of sights on them. Not sure that's my kind of thing though, to be honest. The thing with those semi-automatic shotguns is they do require a little bit more cleaning, particularly the gas operated ones like this, and there's a few more safety aspects that need to be taken into consideration when you're using a semi-automatic. I'm sure, not teaching them to suck eggs, but I'm hoping that there's some people watching this video that are new to shooting, so please bear with me if you're not. Okay, so let's take this to pieces, field strip it. Well, field strip's probably the wrong word, kitchen strip it, for everyday cleaning, and see how it goes. Before I do anything else, you'll notice that throughout the video the bolt is back. You can see straight down there the gun is empty, safe, and it's clear. Okay then, to take it apart, I'm first going to remove the end cap. Doesn't require any tools, it's just hand tight. I'll put that over there out of the way. The fore end comes off dead easy. And then I release the action. Okay, the barrel then comes off very simply. Inside there you'll find the gas piston. Place that to one side and the barrel. Now the fiddly part is removing the bolt handle. Now we need to set the bolt handle off in order to get the rest of it out. And the way you do that is you push down on this, on the slide bolt carrier, and you'll see that there's a few notches that you need to line up. There's a lump on the bolt handle itself that has to line up with a notch in the bolt, and it can be very, very fiddly. And it can take some time to get right. So that just comes straight out, release, and out comes the bolt. And there's the bolt. The firing pin at the end, and where the hammer strikes there. Bolt carrier, or at least that's what I call it. And the spring. And there we have it. That is as much as I would do from a day-to-day basis for cleaning after you've been shooting. However, every now and again you're going to need to clean the trigger group as well, and that's very simple. All you need to do with that is you get a small punch and a rubber mallet, and there's a pin there. I don't know if you can see that from that distance, but there's a pin there which you just knock out, which you can do from either side, and then the trigger group just pulls more or less straight out once you've pushed this button in. And that's it. That's as much as you need to do to break it down and clean it. Now, I mentioned earlier about magazine capacity, about the fact that it's a section 2 shotgun and it can only legally hold 3 shots, 2 in the magazine tube and 1 in the chamber. However, I can't speak for other guns, I can only speak for this one, but there's one thing I find really disappointing about this, is that the way in which it restricts the amount of shots that you can get in. Now, on this particular gun, if we go to the end of the magazine tube, out it comes. There's a little plastic rod that fits in there, which is known as a magazine plug, and it goes down to about there, right, and it basically physically stops any more cartridges going into the tube. However, if you take it out like I've just done, you can now get up to 5 or 6, I think it is, I don't know, can't remember. You get 6 shots into it, which instantly turns it into a section 1 shotgun. Now, to me, that's really, really bad. It surely must be made more difficult to do that. I know you'd like to think that all shooters are conscientious and have no desire to break the law. However, it's just far too easy, in my opinion, to take that out and end up with more shots in than you're legally able on a section 2. Far too tempting for some people, I would suggest. I can see why they've done it. If someone with a section 1 firearm certificate, or with a slot for one of these on the certificate, all they need to do is to take that out, and that's it. That's all they need to do if they want to hold it as a section 1 legally. It's very simple to do for those people, which is great, but it's far too easy, in my opinion, for someone who hasn't got a section 1 to do this. And personally, I think it ought to be, it should be a different tube, one that you can only get 2 in and 1 in chamber. But that's just my opinion. If I'm wrong, or if anybody disagrees, then please comment. I keep reiterating that I'm quite new to it myself, so some of my opinions may or may not ring home with other people. Anyway, let's put the thing back together. We'll replace that in there, so just in case we get into trouble. Replace the spring. On that part there. Making sure you put the bolt in securely. Need to replace the gas piston, sorry, and then the barrel. Now, this I found to be awkward on a new gun before. Yes, I haven't put the thing back anyway. There we go. Okay, we'll try again, shall we? There we go. Making sure that the fore end sits actually inside the action, because if it doesn't, then it won't tighten up properly and it'll be loose. Just finger tight, and there we have it. The Armsan A612. Okay, the cartridges that I use currently for clay shooting are these two. First one is the whole cartridge super fast, 7.5 shot. It's a 27 gram load, 70mm case, plastic wad. These are really quite fast cartridges. They're about 1500 feet per second, so they're really quite quick. They're only 27 grams, as I said, and the recoil on them is fairly low, which is what you want when you're shooting all day fairly rapidly on a clay field. The second one I use are these sporters. Again, they are 70mm cases, 7.5 load, and they are of 28 grams these. But the thing I found strange is that although they're virtually the same, these ones, the sporter ones, don't seem to cycle as well through my semi-auto as these do. I don't know why that is. I don't know whether it's a problem with my gun, or whether it's the fact that these are high brass and these are low brass. I don't know if that's got anything to do with it, but that's the cartridges that I'm using presently. I do have a cartridge belt, but to be quite honest, I don't really use this very often. I prefer the cartridges to be in the pocket of my shooting vest or my shooting coat. They seem easy to access. So I'm not sure whether I'll ever use this, to be fair. And one thing I've noticed about this cartridge belt is, it's a very strange thing, I don't know why they do it. There's actually room on the belt for 26 shells, and you only get 25 in a box usually. So I don't know what the reason for that is, but there's my Jack Pike cartridge belt, which I don't use. What? Eh? What you say? The all-important ear defenders. Never leave home without them. They're not electronic ones or anything like that. They're just your normal standard ear defenders. Eye protection, I use these eye level shooting glasses. These ones have an amber lens, which is really good for picking up the clays against trees and things like that. It's really good. Comfortable to wear as well. I think comfort is a big consideration when you're shooting. And also I have my Browning baseball cap. Particularly good for keeping bits of broken clay off your head, and also the peak, of course, stops anything getting down the front of your glasses, hopefully. So yeah, another piece of equipment that is essential, I believe. Well, so there you have it. Thank you very much for watching. Please comment, rate and subscribe, and I'll look towards putting some more videos on as soon as I can. Thank you very much again for watching. Great. Have a nice day.